On this Friday, the South Korean government approved a budget of $523 billion for next year, up 8% from this year, with much of it to be focused on research and development and artificial intelligence to push for future economic growth. Reflecting on his recent visits to the U.S. and Japan, President Lee Jae-myung has pledged to advance his administration's pragmatic diplomacy and safeguard the national interest. South Korea's industrial output, retail sales, and facility investment all increased in July from a month earlier. In fact, the boost in consumption came from government-issued cash handouts. Good evening. The first full-year budget plan by the Lee Jae-myung administration has been set for next year, over a whopping $520 billion. Our Kim Do-yeon leads us tonight.
The South Korean government on Friday approved the budget proposal for 2026, a spending plan worth 728 trillion won, or $524 billion US. This is the first budget proposal for President Lee Jae-myung with a theme of recovery and growth, and it's also the first budget proposal to surpass 700 trillion won.
현재 우리 경제는 신기술 주도의 산업 경제 혁신, 그리고 외풍에 취약한 수출 의존형 경제 개선이라고 하는 두 가지 과제를 동시에 안고 있습니다. 오늘 국무회의에서 의결될 내년도 예산안은 이러한 두 가지 과제를 동시에 해결하고 경제 대혁신을 통해서 회복과 성장을 이끌어내기 위한 마중물입니다.
This marks a sharp 8.1% increase compared to last year's main budget, a significant jump from the 2.5 and 2.8% growth rates seen in the two previous years. The government says it's focusing on performance-based financing, restructuring spending to invest more in what works.
For next year's budget, the government has focused on performance-based fiscal management by drastically cutting what's unnecessary and boldly investing in what must be done.
In fact, 27 trillion won was cut from restructuring inefficient projects and administrative costs from before. And much of that has been focused on artificial intelligence as the government makes efforts to focus on making the nation top 3 in the industry. That's most clear in the R&D budget, which will jump a record 19.3% from last year. Among the 12 main budget categories, this is the biggest hike. On top of R&D, the government will purchase 15,000 GPUs to build out the nation's AI infrastructure. Also notable is 2.1 trillion won, or around $1.5 billion, that's been proposed to help industries hit by U.S. tariffs, including support for shipbuilding. Direct monetary support for citizens will also grow. Most notably, a new pilot program for residents in rural areas will give 240,000 people in select counties 150,000 won per month. But all this spending inevitably leads to more debt. The nation's debt-to-GDP ratio, which had remained under 50%, will surpass that mark next year at 51.6%. By 2029, the government expects that figure to reach 58%. President Lee, however, said this is not the time to tighten the belt.
뿌릴 씨앗이 부족하다고 밭을 묵혀놓는 그런 우를 범할 수는 없습니다. 씨앗을 빌려서라도 뿌려서 농사를 준비하는 게 상식이고 순리입니다.
The budget proposal now heads to the National Assembly for a review and passing as a bill. The ruling Democratic Party's majority makes its passage highly likely. A final vote is constitutionally required by early December, with the bill expected to pass largely reflecting the administration's original vision before the end of the year. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
And earlier this morning, President Lee used today's cabinet meeting to reflect on his recent visits to Japan and the United States. Our Presidential Office correspondent Song Yoo-jin has the details.
Fresh off from his back-to-back trips to Japan and the United States, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung opened Friday's extraordinary cabinet meeting by thanking all those who contributed to the visits.
국민 여러분의 성원 덕분에 미국과 일본 순방을 잘 마무리하고 돌아왔습니다. 진심으로 감사드립니다. 팀 코리아의 정신으로 현지에서 혼연일체로 함께 헌신해 주신 기업인 여러분 그리고 언론인 여러분께도 각별히 감사 인사를 드립니다.
The president pledged to advance his administration's pragmatic diplomacy, saying it is built on the trust and personal rapport he established with his counterparts this time.
외교도 결국 사람이 하는 일이고 국익을 지키려면 마음을 얻어야 합니다. 이번 순방에서 형성된 따뜻한 신뢰 관계를 바탕으로 우리의 국익을 지키고 다른 주변 국가의 협력도 보다 확대해 나가도록 하겠습니다.
In a social media post on Thursday, President Lee said the most meaningful outcome of his U.S. visit was forming deep trust with President Donald Trump through a candid conversation. Their first face-to-face meeting lasted over 2 hours, far longer than planned. Before heading to Washington, President Lee held his second summit with Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba in Tokyo. Their talks were seen as an early resumption of Seoul and Tokyo's frequent leader-level meetings, which the two leaders agreed upon during their first meeting at the G7 summit in Canada this June. With both trips now completed, President Lee called for bipartisan support to sustain this diplomatic momentum.
외교 문제나 국익에 관해서는 최소한 다른 목소리가 없었으면 좋겠습니다.
For that, he said he would move quickly to brief the ruling and opposition party leaders on the outcomes of his trips and discuss ways to work together. During the closed-door meeting that followed the president's remarks, the foreign ministry outlined ways to follow through on the two trips' achievements, including through the participation of the Japanese and U.S. leaders at the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting in Gyeongju this October. 송유진, Arirang News.
Now, as Seoul sets out to set the pace of diplomacy with North Korea, officials and experts are still cautious on setting expectations too high. Our Oh Seung explains.
South Korea's top security official has warned against premature optimism for dialogue with Pyongyang, even as Presidents Lee Jae-myung and Donald Trump signaled eagerness to engage North Korea. In a radio interview on Friday, National Security Advisor Ri Song-lak said it is more constructive not to set expectations too high, stressing that North Korea has shown no willingness so far to engage with either Seoul or Washington. He added that Chairman Kim Jong-un's attendance at the APEC meeting in South Korea's Gyeongju this October should be seen as unlikely. The comments come as Seoul pursues North Korea diplomacy following the Korea-US summit on Monday, where President Lee pledged to be the pacemaker if President Trump revives his role as the peacemaker. We described Kim's planned trip to Beijing next month for China's Victory Day events as a development to watch, raising the possibility of the North Korean leader meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping or Russian President Vladimir Putin. He cautioned closer ties between the three sides could sharpen fault lines against South Korea's strengthened trilateral cooperation with the US and Japan. On that note, it's uncertain whether Kim Jong-un will meet with National Assembly Speaker Woo Won-sik, who will attend the parade in President Lee's place. Seoul's Unification Ministry on Friday said it would not prejudge but monitor whether contact is made. The ministry also stated nothing has been decided when asked if a Unification Ministry official would accompany the speaker to Beijing. Still, while the chances may be slim, there's speculation Kim's China diplomacy may lead to potential dialogue with Washington.
Because President Trump may try to meet Kim Jong-un on the occasion of the APEC summit, I think it's likely Kim will seek prior consultations with Xi Jinping, just as he did in 2018 and 2019 before meeting President Trump.
But it's unclear how involved South Korea would be if US-North Korea talks go ahead.
Even if Chairman Kim Jong-un and President Trump meet again, it's more likely they would meet on the northern side of Panmunjom, not the southern side. Depending on circumstances, Kim could even propose the Wonsan-kaima Coastal Tourism District. In any case, whatever form a Trump-Kim meeting takes, Seoul is likely to offer all necessary conveniences to President Trump.
While North Korea's latest remarks have continued to sharply criticize Seoul, the regime has not ruled out engagement with the US, though it has rejected the idea of denuclearization. North Korea's Rodong-Sinmun report confirmed on Friday that Kim would be traveling to China for the Victory Day parade. 오수영, Arirang News.
In other news, the effects of implementing supplementary budgets and livelihood recovery consumption coupons are starting to show, as South Korea's July Index of Services shows positive signs of a consumption recovery. Our Park Jun-han has the details.
South Korea's economy experienced a triple increase in industrial production, consumption, and investment in July, the first such increase since February. This is according to Statistics Korea's Index of Services report for July, released on Friday. Notably, the country's consumption showed 2 straight months of increases. In July, consumption went up by 2.4% year-on-year and 2.5% month-to-month, recording its strongest growth in 2 years and 5 months.
The effects of the second supplementary budget, such as the livelihood recovery consumption coupons and the energy-efficient appliance rebate program, contributed to higher goods consumption and greater use of personal services in distribution, dining, lodging, and beauty.
All industry production compared to June rose by 0.3% as declines in construction were offset by gains in public administration, services, and mining and manufacturing. Equipment investment surged by some 8%, led by transportation equipment such as automobiles and aircraft. Automobile production, however, fell by over 7% due to seasonal holidays and the impact of U.S. tariffs. The government said it will swiftly implement the supplementary budget to spread the momentum of domestic demand recovery nationwide. Relevant agencies will also focus on follow-up actions to the U.S. tariff negotiations and prepare additional support measures for affected businesses by September. Park Jun-han, Arirang News.
K-Beauty takes the stage a massive event right in the heart of Seoul. Beauty lovers and business representatives alike joined Seoul Beauty Week to see and experience the latest in K-Beauty. Our Pyeong was there.
A machine scans the face. AI technology then analyzes skin tone and condition, recommending products from a vast database. It's one of the many innovative K-Beauty products visitors can try at Seoul Beauty Week.
Seoul Beauty Week is not just an exhibition. It's a beauty festival that the general public can also enjoy. For businesses, it provides opportunities to expand their networks, while for the public, it offers a chance to truly experience and enjoy K-Beauty. That's the purpose of our event.
On opening day, a special biz preview tour gave industry buyers and decision makers a first look at K-Beauty before the event opened to the public. From global bestsellers to emerging brands, visitors can test products, participate in fun events, and take home samples or full-sized products that reflect the very best in the industry.
This is the Trend Zone, where nearly 120 companies are showcasing the latest in K-Beauty, from skincare and body care to beauty tech and lifestyle products.
Here, visitors can design their own facial mist, picking a serum to match their skin type and a fragrance to fit their style, and they can even add a personalized label on the spot. Many booths also highlight eco-friendly concepts and natural ingredients. Others show the science behind the skincare, from AI-powered tools to the latest in beauty tech. In keeping with its goal of globalizing K-Beauty, the event is geared up for foreign visitors.
I really appreciate they also speak English when they introduce the new product, so we can understand better.
Away from the stalls, there is a whole range of exciting programs, from global marketing seminars to makeup shows and influencer talks featuring fan-favorite beauty gurus. Seoul Beauty Week runs until August 30th at Dongdaemun Design Plaza. Hyunyeong, Arirang News.
One of the biggest competitions in Taekwondo, Korea's traditional martial art, has made its bold return. The World Taekwondo Grand Prix Challenge, often called the gateway to the Olympics, is underway in the southern part of the country. Our Park Hyo-bin takes us there.
The 2025 World Taekwondo Grand Prix Challenge is underway at Taekwondo One's T1 Stadium in Muju County, Jeollabuk-do Province. Energy filled the stadium with more than 300 athletes from 32 countries competing.
I came here with my teammates to cheer for one of them who's competing, hoping they'll finish first. Being here has made me really want to stand on a stage like this myself one day.
I'm from the U.S. and I came here because we have quite a few athletes competing here. My son being one of them, he competed yesterday in -80 and actually won the gold, so that was super exciting.
This Grand Prix Challenge was first introduced in 2022 by the Taekwondo Promotion Foundation and World Taekwondo as a G2 ranked international event. It was designed to promote Taekwondo, discover new talent, and give athletes wider access to the Olympics. Winners can earn up to 20 ranking points, making this a crucial first step toward the Olympic Games. In fact, the top 3 finishers in each weight class will also qualify for the next year's Muju Taekwondo One Grand Prix Series, a G6 event that awards as many as 60 points. The competition is all about gyeongju or sparring, which is the Olympic discipline of Taekwondo. Athletes aim to score points by striking the opponent's chest protector or headgear, with extra points for spinning kicks. This year's competition is especially notable. In the past, this event was limited to lower-ranked athletes. But starting this year, World Taekwondo has shifted to a 2-year Olympic ranking cycle instead of 4. That means this year's event includes some of the sport's very best, like Olympic gold medalists Park Tae-jun and Kim Yoo-jin, as well as athletes currently ranked number 1 in the world. Park Tae-jun, who actually won the very first Grand Prix challenge before taking a gold medal in Paris Olympics, will compete on Saturday. To reflect the Olympic spirit of inclusion, the organizers invited athletes from developing nations as well as participants from the refugee program, giving them a chance to compete on this global stage. The world's top Taekwondo athletes have gathered here in Muju for this challenge, which runs until this Sunday. Now all eyes are on whether a new Taekwondo star will rise in this year's competition. Park Hyo-bin, Arirang News, Muju.
It is Friday, which means it's time for arts and culture. We have our culture correspondent, Park Kwon-woo, here in the studio. Welcome back, Kwon-woo.
Great to be here, Dami.
So, Kwon-woo, I heard you went down to Gyeongju, the venue for APEC 2025 Korea. Tell us more.
Yes, so exactly. So the place where it's located in Gyeongsangbuk-do province, the southeastern part of the country, it's, as you mentioned, the host city of the APEC 2025. And as the event is just 2 months away, I saw how Gyeongju is gearing up to welcome all these delegates from around the world with cultural offerings. And earlier this week, a kind of preview took place as culture ministers and representatives gathered in the city. So let's first take a closer look at the city's cultural vibe.
A city alive with millennia of history, Gyeongju is set to light up APEC 2025 with its vibrant cultural scene. From ancient treasures to modern innovations, the city prepares to showcase how culture fuels creativity and drives economic growth.
We are preparing a variety of cultural programs so that everyone can enjoy Korea's past and present, showcasing the power of our culture, especially as the event takes place in Gyeongju.
One highlight is a special exhibition at the Gyeongju National Museum, featuring artifacts from the Silla dynasty, including 6 golden crowns, all displayed together for the first time. The museum will also hold the APEC banquet.
The banquet hall in the middle court of the Gyeongju National Museum is now entering its final stage of construction. Built in a traditional style using wood, this venue will soon be ready to welcome and fascinate APEC leaders.
Work will be completed by September so that it can host events including K-pop and traditional performances during APEC. The museum's merchandise has also been selling out, especially after the global hit K-pop Demon Hunters. Inspired by Gyeongju's heritage, these goods are especially popular with foreign visitors. The museum has already welcomed 1 million visitors this year, including many people from abroad.
Compared to the past, when most visitors were from China or Japan, now even Europeans are visiting. Many purchase goods after learning the cultural significance behind them.
Earlier this week, Gyeongju hosted the first ever high-level dialogue on culture and creative industries under APEC, attracting cultural representatives who seemed already impressed by the city's richness.
The host is going to impress me much more with the cultural sites that you have, your temples, your ancestral heritage in order to also export talent. It would be super valid and super interesting to have, for example, cross-business expectations, synergies, cross-cultural ideas.
With expectations high, Gyeongju continues preparing to welcome the delegations when they return in late October.
A city where brilliant ancient history and culture will still alive in. I prefer to mention it as an ancient future city, embracing digital innovation and creative industry to pave the way where the past and the future move forward together.
Gyeongju officials added that more efforts would be made to ensure APEC 2025 is also a success.
It's amazing how we just have 2 months left until the big event. Now, Conor, you mentioned that it's the very first high-level meeting within APEC regarding the culture field. Tell us more what happened at the site down in Gyeongju.
Of course, so there were delegates from around the globe, from including Peru and Indonesia, culture ministers, and that attended the dialogue held from Tuesday through Thursday this week. And the event was significant as perceptions of the culture industry have shifted. So countries now see culture as a major driving force of the economy, to the point where this dialogue was held for the first time. And South Korea's culture minister said that culture carries universal sentiment, which enables countries to connect and cooperate even more. So under the 3 main topics for this year's APEC, which are connect, innovate, and prosper, key sectors including AI were also discussed.
We recognize that the development of digital technologies, including AI, will drive innovation across cultural industries. We also acknowledge that AI could affect jobs and creator rights, and together agreed on the need for collective efforts to protect them.
So he added they will continue working with countries, including China, the next host of APEC, so that these discussions and agreements persist.
Well, everyone knows that AI is now a key factor. Now, how does the government then plan to foster the culture field connected with artificial intelligence?
Yes, so today, as you already know, the government revealed its budget plan for next year, and that also included measures for the culture sector as well. So the administration said it will provide nearly double the funding to strengthen K-culture competitiveness and boost exports. And one of the key points of the plan was greater support for AI-based content production. So the government also plans to create training programs to foster AI content creators as well.
All right, Kanu, thanks for all of that tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
The calendar is heading toward the end of August, but the heat of late summer is not cooling down. Heatwave warnings and heatwave advisories are still in place in most parts of the country, with the daytime temperatures rising to around 33 degrees Celsius nationwide, with humid conditions. Showers fell mainly on the west today. Tomorrow, showers are forecast again over the central parts of the country, the Jeollado provinces, and Jeju Island. It will rain in most parts of the country on Sunday. If you have any plans to go out, you should bring an umbrella. Morning will start at 26 degrees in Seoul and Busan tomorrow. Chuncheon and Gyeongju at 24 degrees. Daily highs will rise up to 31 degrees in Seoul, Chuncheon at 32 degrees. Hot weather with frequent showers will continue throughout next week. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
That's all we have for tonight. I'm Kim Dami. From all of us here at Arirang, thanks for watching and good night.